Which 3 games are you looking forward to most this season? Luke, we'll start with you this time.
All right, so right off the bat, I think the easy one is Bills-Ravens in Week 1. We're going to get the last year's MVP in Josh Allen versus the guy who should have won it in Lamar Jackson.
Thank you.
It's still going to be must-see TV. I think it's going to be. I don't think there's any type of. I don't think Lamar cares in terms of like, I got to go show him that I'm the better guy. He's just going to go be Lamar, and I think that it's going to be a great football game between two teams that are both going to be Super Bowl contenders and two of the best quarterbacks that we've ever seen, honestly. And I don't say that lightly. That's going to be great right off the bat. Similar, but on the back end of it, I think going into Week 18, I think that game between the Commanders and the Eagles is going to have huge implications. I think the division could still be on the line that late into the season. I still think the Eagles win that division, but I think the Commanders are going to be such a good football team, assuming they keep Terry McLaurin and make sure they pay him what he deserves. But I think getting everything... That team, what they were able to do last year, they're going to be a better version of that team this year, I think. They kept most of what they needed to. They've added some pieces that are important. The Eagles are still going to be a juggernaut, and I think that game is going to be, again, assuming everybody's still healthy, that to finish the season, I think is going to be an incredible, incredible game to watch. And then my third one is a purely aesthetic, personal choice, because when the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Seattle Seahawks both brought back their throwback uniforms a few years ago, it was a victory for all of us like uniform lovers that just really enjoy those types of things in the game. But the those of us that are purists about the game were like, man, you know what would be the perfect thing is if the Bucs didn't just bring back the orange creamsicles, but they brought back the white ones that they wore in 1976. Because a lot of people don't know this, the Bucs did not wear orange in 1976 at all. They wore the white uniforms the whole season. And they wore a different one than they wore a few years later because they were orange numbers with red outline, and then they switched to the other way around, and that's what they wore until 97 when they switched to the red and pewter. But
they were also in the AFC West.
They were in the AFC West.
I don't even know what.
They're celebrating their 50th anniversary this year, and so are the Seahawks because they both came into the league in 1976. So both teams are celebrating 50th anniversary. The Bucs went and unveiled the fact that they're bringing back the white alternates, and sure enough, like we were all begging, like so many teams have an opportunity to do the cool thing and they just don't. The Bucs and Seahawks are going to play in Seattle Week 5, both in their throwback uniforms that they would have worn in 1976, and it's just going to be the most aesthetically pleasing football game I've ever seen in my life. I cannot wait. So I don't even care what happens on the field. Obviously, I want the Bucs to win. But the fact that like 5 years ago, we're like, you know what would be cool? And now it's actually coming to fruition. We're going to actually see this game played out. I don't have to just change the uniforms in Madden to make it happen. Yeah. I cannot wait to see that game.
I might have to invade the press box for that one.
Oh, yeah. Steve, why don't you go next?
Hell yeah. All right, so mine are a little different. So I can't get too excited at the end of the season just quite yet. So a lot of them are going to be at the beginning of the season. Right off the bat, I'm going with the Titans at the Broncos in Week 1. This is purely a Cam Ward play. I love watching Cam Ward. I want to see how he can do at the NFL level. I want to see what Bo Nix has in year 2. Is this guy going to come out looking like, oh my gosh, is he an MVP candidate? So this is really a Cam Ward versus Bo Nix play. Very excited for that game.
Steve, I'm going to interrupt you because thank you for doing what the NFL did not do and realize that they have a superstar, entertaining, number 1 overall pick quarterback, and they didn't put him on national TV once this season. The entire schedule, no Cam Ward on national TV. Thank you for giving Cam Ward his love. I can't wait to see him either.
Luckily, I got Sunday tickets, so I will be watching that game, or I'll stream it in case I don't renew it this year. But yeah, dude, I'm very high on Cam Ward. Second game, Luke, you will absolutely love this. I'm excited for the Bucs at Falcons Week 1. I feel like that's the one division where I'm not that confident as to who's going to win the NFC South. So I kind of think this is a preview of how the year is going to go. Are the Falcons going to overtake the Bucs? I kind of don't think so. I'm high on the Bucs, maybe because I spend too much time talking to you, but I'm very excited for that game. I think it's an early preview of a very important game. And for my third one, it's a little later in the year. As a Patriots fan, I've always known that the season really doesn't start until November. So I'm going with a Week 11 game. It's going to be Lions at Eagles. That could be a preview of the NFC Championship. I think both of those teams, I think it'll be probably the game of the week. So week 11, Lions at Eagles. I'm definitely pumped for that one.
That Bucs-Falcons game is probably going to make me sad because they won't have Tristan Wirfs and they won't have Chris Godwin and they won't have Jalen McMillan, and I'm going to be very sad because I think they're probably going to lose, but I don't think it'll matter because by the end of the season, everybody will be healthy and we'll win it again. So
what they're doing is they're underselling and they're going to over-deliver.
They're falling behind for a more dramatic victory.
Yes.
They're going to love it.
All right, Doug, which 3 games do you have?
I'm going to start week 1, Vikings at Bears. And you would think Caleb Williams, disastrous rookie season, Brian Flores, Petri dish defense, you throw everything at him and the rookie quarterback folds. Here are Caleb Williams' stats in 2 games against the Vikings last year. 50 of 78 for 531 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks, and a quarterback rating of 96.7. And now he's a little more on the ball than he was last year. And now you have, as I mentioned, a very different Bears defense. And I can't wait to see that thing unleashed. I'm not saying that the Bears are going to beat the Vikings 40-10, and all of a sudden there's a new sheriff in town in the NFC North. I'm not saying that because there is no sheriff in the NFC North. Everyone can be the sheriff. But I do think that's a major, major sort of claim staking game for the Bears, who then, by the way, have the Lions, the Cowboys, the Raiders, the Commanders, the Saints, Ravens. I mean, it just gets harder and harder. It never lets up. So the Bears could be in a 6-11 team that actually plays like a 12-win team. We just don't know. My second game, week 2, Eagles-Chiefs, Super Bowl rematch. I think, talk about claim staking games. This is a point where the Chiefs have to be able to say, no, we're still the alpha. Yes, you beat us like Foghorn Leghorn beat the cat in the Looney Tunes cartoons, but that's not who we really are. They need to make a statement there. And then week 17, Broncos at Chiefs. I think the Broncos might have the best roster in the NFL this year. I think they do have the best defense. I think people are sleeping massively on Bo Nix. I've felt that way since before Bo Nix was drafted, and I heard all these things people were saying of him. I'm like, which quarterback? Are you watching a different Oregon quarterback from like 12 years ago? Because you're not watching him. I think that could be for supremacy in the AFC West and the AFC overall. And right now, that's a pick 'em for me. I think the Broncos really, the way they're set up and the way the Chiefs are still kind of coming back from, by the way, the Chiefs defense in the second half of the season ranked 27th in DVOA, down from 4th in the first half. This isn't automatic anymore. So that's a major game for everything up to from AFC West to Super Bowl ramifications. Broncos Chiefs week 17, huge, massive.